Oh, I had the sound level right. This darn thing. It always. There we go. I'm Marc Wagner, your host. DentalBytes, the latest DentalBytes. This is episode. What is it? 120. Have I done 120 of these things? Man, oh man. I'm pumped. Again, I love being in studio. I've been bugging this guest to be on with me I actually ran into her at the PDC, and I finally put her in a chokehold, and she signed up. So there you go. I'll bring her in. Brittany and Encina, how are you? Thanks for joining me finally.
Yeah, you got me.
I got you. Like you were turning blue, and you're kind of like, okay, fine, I'll sign up. Give me the link, get me in.
Yeah, I think you made me sign up like on the spot.
I did. I got you to take out your phone, and we just did it right there, and then we had to reschedule there. But anyways, I'm so happy you're here. It's good to have you on finally.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, there's nothing to be nervous about. I'll be nice. We kind of talked about me being mean before, but I'm the one that's gonna goof up. So, what's top of mind? Like, I want to start off here. How the heck did you get into the dental industry? Like, why did you get into the dental industry? And then kind of lead up to where you're at right now.
Yeah, so I've actually spent the first 15 years of my career working in dental practices. So I was your receptionist, your admin, your treatment coordinator, your office manager, and then regional manager. And then in 2019, I realized there was an informational gap from where I wanted to be and what I knew. So I went back and did my MBA, and yeah, now I have an advisory and apply all the things I learned in my MBA to teaching dentists how to better operate their business.
It's kind of funny, like going through life, eventually it's an eventual thing that we hopefully other people experience it too, like finding your purpose in things, right? And when you finally get to that spot where you're like, okay, yeah, this is what I should be doing. This makes more sense. It's kind of like a real refreshing thing, and I think all comes down to like what's sort of purpose you serve and what value does that bring.
Totally. And when you find that purpose, I feel as if you hit a certain amount of cadence in your business too, because you know what you want to serve and the value it's bringing. Yeah. And that feels good. Yeah.
It kind of boils down to when you're there, you have that purpose. It's, where was I going with it? See, I'm drawing blanks here. It's you're passionate about it, right? Like you're excited about it, and you nerd out about it. Like, it's fun. So, you're stumbling into some fun time here. I see you posting all sorts of things that you're excited about on LinkedIn. So, what are you seeing like success wise with some of the folks that you're helping out right now?
A lot of it is leveraging AI and technology in the practices. The days of traditional dentistry, they're gone. I mean, I lived through when we actually had dial-up insurance claims.
Dial-up.
Yeah, it would make the noise, the like, and then you'd wait for the connection.
Yeah.
And now you could press a button and it'll tell you immediately if it's pre-authorized or not, and verify the claim and tell you how much you're going to be paid and that it's deposited into your account in a couple of days. And I mean, they used to take a month almost 20 years ago. Yeah.
Like it's pretty, like when you, born, 81 here, like we got to kind of experience the whole trip, right?
Yeah.
From having that phone, like I love telling the kids, Daddy used to, like, when he didn't want to be on a phone call, he got to just like, and that was it, right?
Yeah, this is not nearly as satisfying.
Yeah. And, when the little circle goes around, right? Where we're buffering, like, man, I remember just dialing up. I remember playing video games as a kid, like computer games, and like over the internet. And my mom would somebody would pick up the phone to like make a phone call, and like it would ruin your connection. But these kids will never know. So there's always a little bit of, I think when it comes to change, right? Everybody's sort of concerned about what does that mean for them, and with AI, I think AI is going to drive more change than the industrial revolution. I truly believe that. I think what AI does and our technology that we have right now is, it kind of turns everybody into this like superhuman, if you will, right?
It does.
The things that, I'm using a lot of it personally, and like the amount that I can do on a daily basis, and just even like creating video or like I'm dyslexic, so writing anything is, it's awesome now that, and it's not like a crutch at all. And the way that I view technology is it's a tool, right? And the tool is as good as the user is trained to use it. And like there's a lot of these tools, especially in the dental practice, that they're not fully utilizing it to the full extent of its capabilities. I see that a lot. But we're in a time now where we can all essentially have a personal assistant for, with ChatGPT. I don't know if you've seen ChatGPT's new 4.0 launch. Essentially now, it's even got the emotional side of it dialed down. So you can have like a full-on conversation with your phone. And now you can use the camera on it, and it recognizes your facial expression. And the things that are, it blows me away. And, like the extent that it's integrated into every single one of our lives, I think, we'll live into that. But what's your pushback you're seeing, and I know you're a fan, and it's like let's take things to the next level. That's the idea. But what's the pushback? Like, how do you navigate through that fear?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of fear because people obviously wonder, am I lose my job to AI? Right? There's the trust factor. I mean, is it going to work? Most of us grew up in a time where computers were unreliable. They've they've moved forward a bit. Obviously, now we know what we tell it to do is what it will do. But back in the day, it wasn't quite as compliant or refined, and so they're predicting that every 2 years, the technology advances past itself. And so when we look at that rapid innovation, most of us are like, well, I'll wait and see if I can trust this technology before I pick it up. But by the time we trust that technology, it's already something completely different. Yeah. And so before, when we would sort of wait for a technology, DVD players, we wanted to see if that was better than the laser discs. Yeah. Right. But now, if you miss that wave, then you're just that much further behind in the learning capacity. And that mountain gets bigger and bigger. And so your trust in the AI is reduced further and further, which puts you even more behind. So you just kind of have to take the jump. And the biggest thing is your team has to have an innovative mindset and feel that they can sort of test and fail gracefully without repercussion.
I like that. Fail gracefully.
Yeah. And that's hard because when you're an adult, you don't fail a lot. I mean, when you're young, you do, but when you're an adult, failure comes with an emotional piece behind it. And so I think that's why we're seeing a lot of focus on cultures now in dental practices.
Do you think the older people get the less risk they take? Do you think it's more calculated?
Ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, I find that my more mature providers that I work with are the ones that are saying, wow, we got to get on this, because they know that in 5-10 years, they're going to be exiting, and they don't want to sell the dinosaur dental practice that is so far behind. So
it's wild. It's an interesting day, going out, and I'll go and knock on doors. It's part of the deal. And rolling into that practice where you see the paper chart still in the back and behind the front desk. Yeah. And knowing what I know, it just, the spectrum that you see in this day and age, it's wild. It's so wild. Like, I think this AI is like, it's the internet. Like, oh, it's just, I remember people saying it's just a fad. It's, well, look at it now. And AI is going to be, it's unavoidable. You're going to your car is going to have AI embedded. Like any piece of software, any new piece of software that's being developed right now will have some integration with AI. Like that's what's happening. So you're saying jump in, like it's either you jump in and you're controlling that swim, or the tidal wave hits you and you swirl around and try and figure things out. It's cool. Are you finding that most people are pretty receptive, and I guess they're enlisting you to help them out. So their swimming boots are already on. Is it easier for you to push things forward?
I mean, there's some that I think it's a marathon.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I always say, let's start with the easiest part, which is typically the administrative workflow.
Sure.
Right. And so, I mean, automated reminder softwares have been out for almost a decade. That is not new. Yeah. Right. But now we're seeing elevation in that integration into the practice software, where instead of just being a reminder software, maybe it's also an online booking software, or an automated treatment coordinator, and on and on and on. Right.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is we want to look at that software not as a piece of software or the fail safe, and actually integrate it into the practice as if it is an AI coworker, and consider it part of your organizational chart. So not a software. That is a figure on your organizational chart.
Brilliant.
Next to your admin.
Brilliant. I love that. That's actually, my mind went there. It's funny that you kind of you got to view it as it's it's another worker. It is, for sure. That's how I kind of see it. It's, I don't know if you're a Marvel fan, but Iron Man, he had his the personal assistant, and it is quite, it's already capable of going, hey, Mark, you look a little tired today. Why don't you go get yourself a little coffee? I got this. Like, it can do that.
It can.
It's freaky. And really, this is what a good tool will do, is like, you just got to go, the fear is like, here's why we're all freaked out. Okay. We've grown up on movies like The Terminator or The Matrix, which was written by the same writer, by the way. So we're all kind of like, all right, you Skynet, are you going to start launching nuclear weapons? There's this whole existential, and listen, I think that's the right approach to new technology. Listen, we added lead to fuel because engines were knocking, and look what that did, right? It showed that adolescents' brains weren't developing because there was lead in our atmosphere. So, treading lightly on this and integrating it properly, I think, we're not dealing with this behind closed doors inside a laboratory. We're all kind of facing AI together and talking about it. And, there's the whole question, like we won't need to get into this, but like when it becomes self-aware, like when it becomes a general intelligence, that's yeah,
in a lot of ways. So
yeah.
in dentistry, we're sort of at like this entry point with AI where we're automating workflows, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're taking sort of the tedious tasks or the things that are arduous in our practice, and we're automating them.
Yeah.
Great. In hopes that it will either be done more efficiently or more consistently. That's where we see a lot of practices implementing AI, is they want that consistency at the admin side of things. In the back end, they look at it like it's a great fancy tool, good for patient conversion as well. But when we think about that next step, it comes down to machine learning, which is sort of that next big wave in dentistry where our softwares are actually learning from us as we're using them so that it can be more predictive in the future. And so if we long game this, right? So today it's automated. We're not mixing alginate. But in the future, when we start to layer up the AI software where it's reading the x-rays and it's able to predict our treatment results, and it's also doing the scan, and then it's able to integrate into our software and talk about payment plans, and maybe there's blockchain where it can actually verify if the person has the funds to pay us or just automate that payment. When you layer that up, it sounds very Jetsons. That will be here in 7 to 10 years. And you're fooling yourself if you think it's not.
I don't think it's 7 to 10, Brittany. I think
the high adoption rate will be
okay, fair.
Yeah,
there will be some people that will have the kind of the bare bones of this kind of setup in a year to 2. Like
totally. Well, I mean, I have practices that are getting there right now.
There you go.
And it's called first mover advantage. But when you are a practice that still has a rolling patient chart system, and you're manually sending off claims or using the bare basics of you got a practice management software just to put a schedule instead of it being in a book, you are so far away from where you need to be that if you continue to delay, you're going to be a really tough spot in 3 to 5 years.
I love this conversation. This is fun. Yeah. Yeah. Like that's what I see too. Like you're bang on, I think. And I've been just nerding out on this stuff. Like I'll watch every single podcast and
me too.
Yeah. Who's your favorite? Who do you like to listen to?
No, I don't want to share that. But yeah, I listen to a lot of like non-dental.
Yeah, no, same here. Lex Friedman's been my favorite. He's got a lot of he's a PhD and from MIT in computer engineering and AI. So just having him on, kind of talking about the existential side of bringing in sort of a computer entity into the equation, not to mention sort of like the advancements in our human society. Like it's pretty cool. Like we're about to embark on a really, like I have a positive viewpoint on this technology from everything that I've listened to. Is I think, we're all running around pulling our hair out with no time. Maybe being like there might be people that are more efficient than others, but now we have a tool that's going to like give us some support, on an individual level that knows us as an individual that could really, and I think it sounds like weird and to maybe some people, but to me, that's like, that equation for me is I can do more things that I want to do, and I can eliminate the tasks that are, not so much fun, especially when it comes to sort of administrative things and giving some guidance on efficiency, especially when it comes to like business. At the end of the day, having more time to go home and hang out with my kids. Like if you sign me up.
I think technology is, it's more explicit or in your face, whereas before it was very implicit, right? Like Google's been tracking our movements, and so has Facebook for a very long time. Yeah. I mean, I love it when I get served up an ad that's made for me. I'm like, yes, the algorithm is doing well.
Yeah.
At other times, I wonder, like, what did I do or talk about that I hit this part of the internet?
Yeah, totally. Uh-oh. We won't go there either, right, Brittany?
Right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
why am I watching chickens walking around? Like, I'm
Yeah.
not a farmer, right? So it's like,
Yeah. But
in
you
that
find it
room,
entertaining, though. It's put
yeah,
it there. You
I
watched the whole video,
do,
though. Did
I
you
do. I'm
admit
like,
it?
maybe I'll
Yeah.
hit the comment section. That's where the match was, right? Like,
That's it. Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
but when we look at dental practices, it is really explicit because patients can see it, our teams can see it, we're interacting with it. And so the rollover beyond you're going to be behind, like, why am I going to be behind and why is it bad? Well, let's get into it. First of all, most of the people that work in the dental industry are under 40 when we look at the support section of our practices. And so they are very interested in technology. And so if they're getting together with their friends and they're hearing that they're using scanners and AI and bots and virtual receptionists and all this stuff, and they're sitting here still literally dialing the phone and calling patients to confirm, they're like,
the rotary one.
Yeah, I gotta find another practice to work at, right? Like, I'm falling behind in my skill set, they're thinking. And so you will experience attrition in the future if you're not integrating those services, because they will find another dentist. I mean, we know there's like 8 dentists in like every neighborhood. So it's not like there isn't availability for them to go and look and find somebody that's employing these technologies. So there's that attrition standpoint. The other thing is, in dentistry, in our organizational charts, they're not super high. Right? They're pretty flat. And so the only growth we can really offer our team members is by investing in them and by allowing them to progress. And so technology in your practice allows them to grow their skill set, which does give them a more intrinsic return. And so if you're not employing technology and they're hearing about it and they're going to the conferences and they're in the Facebook groups and they're sitting here, well, I want that.
Yeah.
You're going to lose your team members, and they might be a high value team member in your practice and really enjoy working with you. But if they feel like they're falling behind and personally are not benefiting from working in your practice, that would be really unfortunate.
Yeah. No, you're bang on. Absolutely. That's interesting.
And then the patient side of it is when we look at our older demographics that have had poor dental experiences growing up. You know, everyone hears about the extractions with an anesthetic.
Yeah.
You know, when we're looking at that boomer demographic and older, digital dentistry is really kind to them.
It is. Yeah.
Right. You know, if you can get, so they have a Solea and they're using a laser to do dentistry. I mean, no freezing to get some of your dentistry done.
It's unreal.
I can guarantee that they're going to pick that over the other dentist next door, or if they're able to have a scan done versus, that final impression that takes multiple times to get it right sometimes. So,
and listen, like I live and breathe advertisement, and these patients, they're all educated. They all know more than what you think that they know. So these investments in these pieces of technology it's mission critical. You're right. The time, like we talk about this paradigm switch, right? Like if you're not on board, you're falling behind faster and faster now because things are turning over that much more quick. There's less time to kind of think about things before you get on the ship. Like you kind of have to just get brave and get in there, or, the next ship is already leaving the dock, right?
Yeah.
So what sort of so the philosophy that's, behind everything, that's cool. What sort of things are, in terms of AI, what sort of things are you seeing implemented in practice with success right now?
Yeah, I think the clinical digital workflows are a big one. I think they're very popular. I think 70% of dental practices have a scanner of some sort now. I think the administrative part is slowly coming along. The newer things that I'm seeing is AI receptionists. those are pretty cool. I was testing one out the other day, and I was even heard her typing my name up, which was wild.
Yeah.
It's even, I think, the dashboards that we're seeing on some of the practice management systems, where before you'd have to pull a chart or do a chart audit that would be a very timely endeavor. I mean, you can now click a button and see all the information you want at your fingertips and actually make a data-based decision. Whereas in traditional practices, a lot of it was, I think this will work, let's try it.
So I'm glad you went there. Like, how important is that data? How important is that data to give the practice direction?
Oh, huge. So when I'm working with an owner, that is one of the benchmarks that we set sort of at the start, is what are the short-term metrics that we're monitoring, on a daily basis? What are the monthly, what are the quarterly, and how does that build into the year and the 5-year plan? And so with technology, we're able to obviously pull the knowns, right? That's sort of the base level. So there's the known knowns, and then there's the known unknowns, which technology helps us predict what could happen if we did something to figure out the unknown. And then there's the unknown unknowns, which is where machine learning takes it up a notch, where it can actually predict things using data sets and pulling a lot of aggregated data and saying, okay, if we did X, Y, and Z factors, this is the predicted result. Whereas before, you could never do that.
Yeah.
And so we're able to sort of leverage technology and your data sets and say, if we changed a few things, how would that work long term? Yeah. What are the expected outcomes? And I think in working with my clients, knowing that sort of gives them the ability to take the risk and make some of those larger investments into their practice, because they can see, okay, I'm going to turn over patients faster, which means I don't necessarily need to build an 8 or a 10 chair practice. If we're able to leverage the digital workflows, then dentistry is going to be done technically faster, less appointments, more efficiently, which means that I can pump out the same amount of dentistry and care out of fewer chairs, which is wild when you think about it, to not have the extra team, lease space, any of the like operational costs, and even space requirements.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Like that thought right there, that whole concept is what's going to, catapult our species to the next level. Like that's what AI is capable of doing. Like it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Like to just kind of take those unknowns away, and giving sort of, based on a collection of data, historical data, it's kind of delivering a guided path for us. And maybe it's not one path. Maybe it gives us like options. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not that it's taking the thought away from us and our ability to sort of think about that. It should be viewed as sort of as an entity in the practice. It's a member of the team. It's your personal assistant. To me, that's just, it's such a cool.
Give your scanner a name. Give your scanner a name.
What would you what would you name your scanner?
I knew that
what would you
coming.
name it?
Ooh.
What would you name it?
Probably
this
like
is
Frankie
don't mess this up. This is sorry.
Frankie.
Frankie, I like it.
Yeah. Let's get Frankie over here. Yeah, he'll give you a scan.
Frankie, I love it. Yeah.
What would you call it?
Simon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Simon.
Simon says you need a crown. I love it. I love it.
There you go. I didn't say Simon Says, right?
I know, but that's where my mind went, because
I know. Yeah.
80s baby. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you like? What giving guidance to sort of the community right now, and the team members out there that are looking, like, where do they start outside of the clinic to get up to speed with some of these the AI or some of the technology? What's a good sort of resource for them?
I think that, with them starting by honestly talking to their peers and getting their experiences, I think talking to their reps is important. There's a whole bunch of knowledge that their reps have that they can pull forward. They're really great at helping you understand the ROI if you're going to make some investments. Chat with your accountant, make sure you're in the right position to do it. But when you're looking at functionally, what do I need to do in my practice?
Are you getting a fax right now?
Do you know what is happening right now? This is me wanting to kill my husband because he decided to print something.
To print something? It's like we're talking about AI and you're getting
and he's like,
It would have been really cool if you were getting a fax right now, actually. That would have been hilarious. We're talking about all this technology and you're receiving a fax.
I am dead right now, Marc.
That is what we call content.
Right there.
That's gold right there. That's funny. That is good.
I haven't gotten a fax in about a decade, but yeah.
That's awesome. Hang on, let me just get my fax. I've asked my colleague to fax this information, and I wanted to read this out. That is funny.
No, it's not funny at all.
It's
Alexander,
life.
one second.
Still coming in.
Yeah, it's still coming in.
Is it on the dot? Is it on the dot matrix printer?
Oh gosh, yeah. No, it was really satisfying though to like rip off the edges. Okay.
Did you roll up the little edges too? I rolled them into like little toilet paper.
Yeah, I think that
things.
Was like everybody did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
No, but honestly, I think
I'm normal then. Sorry.
I think
talk to your accountant.
Talk to your accountant. I think that it's important to make sure you're in a good financial position, but really start with the end in mind. So many dentists are like, I'm going to get a laser and I'm going to get this scanner and then maybe I'll get a mill or a 3D printer and then I'm going to have this AI thing. I mean, there was one dentist that had a literal robot when you walked into their office.
I've seen those.
Yeah. It's like, okay, but what was the purpose? I mean, it's some cool shit.
It's a robot.
Don't get me
Come
wrong.
on.
But
jeez, I think robot.
Start with the end in mind and what your treatment and care philosophy is and what the weak points are in your practice. So if you are in a rural area and you're really struggling with staffing, there are certain elements that if you add them in, you don't need as many team members in your practice, right? So there's the staffing part of it. Then there's also what kind of dentistry do I do?
Yeah.
And do I need to enhance some of the things that I have in my practice to make sure that I can deliver good care?
What about this? What if and they're out there. What about the folks that like don't have an end in mind? They just don't know. They don't know. Like there's some that are just they're tumbling around at their personal life. There's no where would you find the direction?
Yeah, they would probably talk to someone like me.
That's what I was kind of trying to. So if you send what do you want to send Brittany a fax?
Yeah, send me a fax.
Yeah, no, like it's
no, seriously. So one of the things that I do in my program is we really work on building that big long-term vision for the practice. So where are we today? Where do we want to go? How do we get there? And what makes sense? Yeah. One of the things that I see a lot of people do is they start with the technology being the strategy, and that's the wrong way to go. We want our strategy in place and the technology to be part of executing the strategy.
Yeah.
Technology is not the strategy. Technology is a workhorse within it. So, yeah.
Totally makes sense. That, especially, we talk about like a CEREC or, or a mill, or that's an investment. Like then there are some CERECs, mills, pieces of technology out there that are just collecting dust in a corner. It's just the saddest, that's the nightmare to me. Like as a sale, like I was, spent some time in the distributor world. Like if I sold something that wasn't being utilized, like, oh my God, like, geez.
Well, I know you walk in and you feel guilty because you're like, well, you made this big purchase.
Yeah.
Did I fail you in getting you comfortable or excited or your team on board?
Yeah.
What's the holdback?
And I think the good reps, like the good distributor reps out there, they are part of the plan. They are part of the team, and that's how they're seen. There's a lot that just come in and take the order and disappear into the night. But, the good ones they really have the pulse on what's happening, and they're knocking on doors, and they're seeing a lot of different people and seeing things and in meetings, and they have a collection of information to leverage. There are some selfish reps out there that are just looking to push equipment, which is, the name of their game. But, long-term is always the smart play, I think, when it comes to that kind of thing. From your perspective, yes, there's a plan in place. What's the best ROI in a piece of technology?
Ooh, I feel like that's a loaded question.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
That's
honestly,
why
I think
it.
I think a digital scanner has the best ROI if it is the right one.
Sure, that's a good answer. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're getting one that's not allowing for interactivity with the teams and the patients, then that makes it really difficult. So I would say like those scanners, the ones that have like a nice faceplate on them, little screen. Yeah, and patients can actually see it being scanned, and they can actually see you manipulating it. I think that yes, it has a excitement factor to it for the patients, but when we look at trust, a lot of it is seeing is believing.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention, like, some of these scanners, it's not so much about the scanner as it is the software that backs it now, like the patient journey you talked about, right? Like that's such a crucial piece to it all. I would argue that the scanners is standard of practice now. Would you agree?
You would be surprised how many offices do not have a scanner.
I know. It's wild. Oral Health magazine does like a poll. They ask all sorts of really cool questions, and 3/4 of the folks that answered said that scanner was the thing that they are going to look at purchasing in 2024. And in some cases that might even be like the second or third scanner, right?
Yeah. Well, I think scanners have come a long way. I mean, they're not new by any means.
Yeah. But we're not spraying that the spray that they used to do. Remember that? You had to spray the coating. Oh, yeah, don't worry. It's the same material that it's, what is it? Smarties, like the sugar. Yeah. Anyways.
But I think that they've come a long way. And even some of the newer ones that are being, released and coming out, they have a lot of good workflows for the team members that make it easier. And just the patient journey. I think that if you're not using a scanner, you're really missing out in a lot of ways. And I think as an adjunct to that, from a front end administrative perspective, you should definitely be leveraging AI. I mean, if you're using the texting function and your team member has to text while answering the phone and talking to people, you're doing it wrong. All you've done is add more work. Like you've given her or him the worst AI coworker, the laziest AI coworker that you could find.
Right. Yeah, no, that's true. I backtracking to the scanner, like I would want a digital record of every patient. And again, like at the end of the day, if we're alleviating some of these low labor intensive tasks away from the front end, they can now pick up more phones and listen. If a lead comes in from a marketing funnel and they're not captured within 5 minutes, they are 21x less likely to become a patient. So
totally. I mean, I'm that person. I call the first, whatever on Google has good stars. I go to their website. I'm like, hey, I'm going to click to book. Damn it. it's an appointment request. Next one.
Yeah.
Well, or maybe I'll call if I'm really interested. And I call and they don't pick up. I'm like, okay, next company. Because I just.
So is it like an information? You just want to gather information and make your own choices? Is that sort of your, like, what do you think works the best?
Perfect example. Literally lived it this morning. I want to book a bouncy castle for my kid's birthday party. Do you think I want to call the guy to book the bouncy castle, to give my visa number, all the things? No. So I went to the first bouncy castle website. That's what they wanted me to do. Yeah. I'm not going to talk to somebody, play telephone tag. Went to the next bouncy castle website online. It was like, literally, here's the measurements of my yard. They gave me a list of all the bouncy castles that fit my yard. I picked one, put my visa number in, and it's booked. Like,
it's touchless.
It's done. I didn't have to talk to anybody. Yeah. And even from a business perspective, the scalability of that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Phenomenal. Yeah. Right.
It's 24 hours.
24 hours. Granted, it's different than patient care, which dentists will argue.
Yeah.
They will argue that to the moon and back. And I do support that on some level, but
it depends on what the chief complaint is, right? Like if it warrants a conversation, then they're put into a channel where they're in touch with somebody. If it's a hygiene appointment, you like a simple booking widget, and this is something that we implement through our service. Yeah. Simple booking widget, the patient jumps on, they can pick their own time, they can even pick their hygienist. They go in and pick the time that works the best for them. They book themselves, and the front end team moves it into the schedule. Done.
Yeah.
Like that's what people want. And then like nobody wants to pick up the phone anymore. It's all text. It's like even clients that I have, the majority of my conversations are over text. Everybody's so busy that they don't have time to sort of, take the time for that phone call. And usually when you make a phone call, it's like, hey, listen, I'll call you at 11:30, okay? Right? And it's like a specific time now. Like you have to schedule a phone call, where a text message is just, you're done. You can do it on the fly, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And it's always the 11 o'clock at night bookings that you're getting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because all the people are not busy at 11 o'clock. They're laying in bed, and the mind of, I need to book this, I need to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I see it.
All the things I didn't do. It's like, okay, well, I got this booking link from my dentist, so I'm just going to click it. And I know that Tuesdays at 2:00 work well for me. What's the next Tuesday at 2:00? And they're all scheduled. And you wake up and you walk into your practice and you're like, wow, we have 10 bookings.
Yep.
Amazing.
I can confirm that point. Like I see it on a regular basis. Yeah. That's a big bulk of these online bookings are all like from about 9 to about 10:30ish, when people finally have the time to sit down and they're watching whatever show it is and the way they go, right, or in bed, right? Like it's important to think about it, like if you're fishing, you're using the right bait. So it's all about making sure that you have the right bait on your hook, right? If you're depending on just your front end to fill the practice, to fill the schedule, you're missing the boat again.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So there you go. That's it. We figured out this whole thing, I guess. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. They should just work with us. Okay.
Yeah.
You get the leads. I'll make sure that they get taken care of in the clinic.
All right, done. This has been great. This is easy. I like it. Yeah. What else is top of mind for you right now? Like what's screaming out? I know AI has been, a big hot item. What else is a hurdle? What else is good? Let's talk about positive actually. What are you seeing that's awesome outside of just the AI world?
I'm seeing a lot of associates that are wanting ownership. Yeah. And they're the graduates from like 2019 to 2022 are super entrepreneurial, and I love it. Oh,
that's cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
So where are they being deflected? Are they able to become owners, or like what's sort of the outcome for that group?
I think Yeah, they are. They are becoming owners. I mean, if
Cool.
they had good financial habits, they're usually in a position that is favorable for it. So, yeah, I'm finding that a lot of those younger grads that sort of were very early in their career or graduated during COVID, during the pandemic, they are definitely wanting to be more in control of their professional journey. And
Interesting.
so it's interesting because usually, traditionally, you'd graduate, you'd build your skill set for 5 to 8 years, then you'd look into ownership, and sort of that was what happened. But now we're seeing graduates that are coming out and they're saying, no, I would rather just get right into it.
And no, what is it about that crop? Is it because of COVID and everybody kind
I
of had
think
the
so.
time to think about it? Like, I'll be honest, like that was for personally like a really big deep dive or reevaluation of things. It was like a real difficult time for a lot of people, and but I think it was sort of almost like a course correction for a lot of folks.
Totally. I think that would be the best way to describe it. What I'm hearing from them is because they were sort of like the junior dentist, they were the first one sort of cut out of the scenario. And so, they're graduating with a good amount of debt, and they've got payments to make, and, also living expenses. And they're sitting here saying, well, I graduated from this program because I love dentistry, but also there is security involved here, and they lost that security. And so
survival. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're saying, well, I don't ever want this to happen to me again. I don't want someone else to be sort of in charge of my destiny, in charge of my financial position, my time freedom, all the things, right? Or even they're really, interestingly enough, they're like, these are the supplies that I want to use. And my owner dentist doesn't want to buy that for me, which when you're an owner dentist, you understand why. But but they're like, I just want to buy the things that I want to use when I'm working.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, there's only one way to get that. Either you're going to pay for it yourself, which you're not going to when you're an associate.
No.
Or you're going to own your own clinic.
Yeah.
Right. Or they're saying, well, the owner dentist that I'm working for is not employing all the technology. And I see that there's so much room for efficiency or growing that in the practice. And they desire it because they are the generation that grew up with all the things. So it's interesting to see them saying, I want ownership now versus later.
Really interesting. Really interesting. It's what COVID turned the economy into is it's a gig economy now. Like everybody sort of
totally.
It's I think it kind of showed everyone that it's kind of everybody for themselves. Like there's tons of layoffs. It was a really tough time, and businesses were turned upside down. So at the end of the day, it's all about survival, and you got to be self-sufficient. And at the end of the day, only you're going to be able to sort of guide your own path. Super interesting. Like what we're going to know looking back on that whole era. Like I know, like a lot of people don't like to kind of think or talk about it, and they want to move on. But that's sort of the negative side of things. Like it was awful. Like, especially when people got sick and we lost a lot of people. But, looking back on that time, I think it'll be like a major shift of the entire planet. It was a huge shift on such a deep level, on the way that, I don't know. It's the only thing
I'm hearing you. We all understand it because we all lived it, but we know that there were, major changes even just in how our perception of things. Like even for me, when I had a client that wanted to start, and I said, no, I'm not starting anyone until the fall because I genuinely want to enjoy my summer with my girls.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I have that liberty because I own my own business.
Yeah.
And, they were like, yeah, that makes sense. Totally.
Yeah.
We'll and they were totally fine with it.
Yeah.
Whereas, 5-6 years ago, if I had said that, they would be like, you're a lazy advisor.
Right. Yeah.
Like hustle, that hustle culture, I think, is evaporating very quickly.
Well, it's not sustainable. I mean, here we go. Like, we talk about AI and how it could help, make that easier.
Like, better, faster.
It's so funny. Like we're a giant ant colony. Like, it's interesting how we're getting squeezed here, and the innovation pops out of that, right? But it's the grind it's not sustainable. Like, mental health is a huge topic, and I think a lot of that is because it's like, in a lot of cases, especially in the corporate world, there's unrealistic expectations of people. There's poor leadership is another one, like folks that are just in it for themselves and really genuinely don't serve their people like they should.
Yep. And
I think, pardon my Francais, but I think people are just like, fuck it. Like, I got this. Thanks very much. Like, I'm going to figure this out on my own. Thank you. And, people are learning that that's a possibility. So you're seeing all like this fragmentation of business now. And like, there's all these smaller businesses collaborating and working together. It's actually making this really, really cool environment to be a part of, because it turns into everybody's happier, doing the things that they're passionate about, and then collaborating with other people that are also passionate and handling things that they want to do on a day-to-day, and they're making sure that they're, yes, their bills are being paid, but they're going out with their daughters in the summer. That's cool.
Yeah, I actually read an article, and it was talking about how AI has changed the business ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And so before, competitors were, direct competitors. We had this like guerrilla marketing where we would, be not so nice to each other.
Yeah. And
right?
like, it's
like the
it's
Pepsi
still there.
Coke taste challenge, right? Right. So they would be going, like head to head, super competitive. It's black and white. It's a win-lose society.
Yeah.
And so, but now that everything is so interconnected, even businesses that would never once be competitors with another are.
Yeah.
Right? Because the amount of technology that we're building out now creates competition in opposite industries.
And here's another thought.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw this in here too. Too. Like, if you have this level of competition, all you're doing is commoditizing your service.
Totally.
You're commoditizing it, because if like, and this drives me nuts, it drives me crazy that like these advertisements right now for our industry, for the dental industry, people are just doing the same $500 off Invisalign and whitening and a toothbrush. It's now you're sort of training the patient, the consumer, to just that's how they are going to buy into the service. God, no.
Yeah, like, it's you about, do not make it want about the freebie. You don't want the freebie seeker. You don't want that. You want the person that's like, I want great care.
They're gonna come to you for that whitening and the toothbrush, and then they're gonna find another practice the next time, right? And we talk about practice growth. It's truly, and this is how all the veterans did it. It's spend 5 minutes to talk to each patient about who they are, like, get to know them. That's going to grow your practice. That's going to like genuinely care about these people. It's not about giving them and scenting them with the freaking toothbrush. Like, give them the toothbrush anyways when they're there.
Let it be the surprise. Let it be the cherry on top to a great.
Hey, thanks for coming in. Like, you're gonna get some whitening today. Cool, right?
No,
hey, guess what happened? Guess what happened? I went to so and so practice today, and they gave me free whitening. Oh, really? You got a referral? That's it just drives me nuts. But you're like, going back to this whole Coke versus Pepsi is like, yes, they have differentiating products. They're one can's blue, one can's red, but at the end of the day, when it comes to that sort of like volume is the name of the game there, right?
So going back to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go back
yeah,
to that.
Yeah, go back. Yes,
so,
yes.
So we perceive it like it's Coke or Pepsi, right? Like you're going to go to a restaurant and you're going to have Coke or Pepsi. But then there's like the vending machine idea. So have you heard about this?
Nope. I might have. So go ahead.
Consumer propensity is that if they have to make an either or decision, it's a yes/no decision.
Yeah.
So Coke and Pepsi will actually put their products next to each other in the vending machines, like their vending machines next to each other, because then people have to pick Coke or Pepsi. It's not, am I thirsty or not? It's, do I want a Coke or do I want a Pepsi? Mm-hmm. And so when we apply this to dentistry, it's not, do I need to see the dentist or not see the dentist? It's which dentist do I want to see?
Mm-hmm. Okay. On sort of the 30,000 foot view.
On the 30,000 foot view. So it's like, how do we get our patients to make that decision of which dentist do I want to see? Well, the community has to collaborate on that, right? Like raising the awareness, the oral health, education for patients. Why is it important to see the dentist? Yeah. How does it connect to your body, et cetera, all of the things. But if we see more of that collaboration to just get interest in seeing the dentist, then the pie grows and we have more to divide.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But if we're just fighting against each other, then we're not getting as much pie. And like, I really like pie.
I love, what's your favorite pie? I got lemon meringue like all day long.
Saskatoon berry all day long. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I love that. You're absolutely right. Like I couldn't agree more. Like we like if we're all collaborating and working on our strong suits, we're progressing. If we're fighting each other, one wins, the other's damaged. Everyone's damaged, and it's slower. I think collaboration is the name of the game. Like let people bring what they're strong in, and be okay to teach them. If like add to whatever they're doing. If there is a fit, and sometimes there's not a fit, and that's okay. But I exactly. Like I think public education, and here's a stat. Like here's some like 60% of Canada's population goes to the dentist once a year. 60%. So that's not even standard of care, right? So the opportunity for us to grow brand awareness of dentistry itself that's kind of that's the idea behind Dentists on Demand. Eventually, it's going to be like a big public educational piece. We're not there yet. Obviously, that's down the road. But that's kind of the name of the game. But it's crazy. It's interesting. It's so interesting. A lot of things. Like I see people doing a lot of counterintuitive things, and I think at the end of the day, like for us to move forward like that, like we're all eventually just going to have a little bit of trust and be comfortable in our own skin and be okay to share what we're good at and be open, talk about it. Another thing that's really interesting right now is people. I worry that people's ability to communicate is being diminished by, being stuck on these things, right? But at the end of the day, like I try and use it for positive and connect with people. But you see these people online and bashing people and using it to like attack. If you like Coke, no, Pepsi's the better one. I like Pepsi. No, Coke. I drink like my dad worked for Coca-Cola for 37 years. So it's like, no, Coca-Cola's better because like their moral values, man. It's not just about the drink, right? So, this has been so awesome. I'm glad we finally connected on here. What are some final thoughts? Like what sort of comes to mind? What's the first thing that pops in there?
For dentists, really just to take that moment to think about what is the long vision. What do we want? What do we need to get there? And oftentimes your team is a bigger help than you think they will be, but you have to let them in on the plan.
Yeah.
So that would be my big takeaway for the dentist is just get the long vision, take the time, build the long vision, get excited about it, and then make your baby steps on your way.
And I love what you said there to include your team.
Oh my gosh, they have so much information to give you and insight because as the provider of care, you see one side of it, but your admins see one side, your clinical team sees another, and they have their groups of friends. So they have all this information that they can bring to you about what's working and not working that they're hearing, or how it might actually positively or negatively impact their own workflows. And if you're not engaging them, you are paving the toughest road possible.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. You have lots of good things to share. How could folks get a hold of you if they wanted to?
Yeah, so I have my Instagram, which is at owner.dentist. They can email me, they can call me, they can hit my website, which is also owner.dentist. And yeah, I'd love to get together and do a call.
They'll all be tagged in this, so just follow the tags and definitely get a hold of Brittany. Thank you so much for finally coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And have a great weekend.
You too.